What do Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, a show where we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, and unfortunately it appears that there was a fairly significant injury on Monday Night Football. I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch the game. I was spending some time with my wife. And today is supposed to be me talking about the Falcons winning over the Arizona Cardinals. We'll get to that another time. Video needs to be made from a medical standpoint, just kind of explaining what may have happened to Damar Hamlin yesterday on Monday night. I've had a chance to go back and see the replay after I heard about the event. And most likely what happened is that Damar Hamlin, the safety for the Buffalo Bills, experienced a very rare cardiac event known as Commotio Cordis. Now, this is something that we learn about in medicine, particularly as it pertains to sports medicine, because it's a fairly rare thing that can happen in contact sports or in any sport where there is an object that can cause blunt force trauma with the chest, particularly in the heart or sternal area, so sternal being here, heart being over on the left side of the chest. So what basically happens is that your heart is excited by a certain electrical impulse that we call the PQRST waveform, where basically, I've already drawn it out for you. The P is basically telling the upper portions of the heart, what we call the atria, the two upper chambers, to contract. The signal then goes, as they contract, signals down to the ventricle, or basically right before you get to the ventricle, to a different node, and then subsequently gathers and tells the ventricle to beat in what we call the QRS sequence. And then from there, you have a very slight rest where you have what's called the T wave, which is a reset electrical impulse. Now, Commotio Cordis typically happens in that millisecond. If you get hit at the exact right time, take a blunt force trauma to the chest as you are going into the repolarization T wave. We're talking about milliseconds. This is incredibly rare, and it has to happen at the exact right time. But it does cause cardiac arrest when that happens. Typically, we see this in sports like baseball, where somebody fields a ball and it gets taken up into a chest at 80 or 90 miles an hour, or hockey getting hit in the chest with a puck. That there is some padding there that helps. You still are having that blunt force. And the same thing with lacrosse, another sport with a fairly hard object that can get thrown into somebody's chest. Again, rare occurrences overall, but you can see it with contact sports like football and boxing or MMA as well, though we just don't see it all that often because all of it has to line up exactly right. Now, thankfully, it appears that he was able to be resuscitated on the field. They were able to do CPR on him. They got a heartbeat back, but he did leave going to the Cincinnati hospital in critical condition, and functionally he had a heart attack as a result of this. So we'll see what happens, or basically I guess cardiac arrest would be a better term for this one, but we'll see what happens with him. I wish him well. They did postpone the game. After that, a large amount of time was devoted to trying to bring him back and get him taken care of, stabilizing him from a medical standpoint. This happened in the first quarter last night. There's no telling what they'll do with the game. They may resume it, they may not. I believe the Buffalo players, from the news that I got, already headed back to Buffalo last night, so they're not in the area anymore. But again, we're here at the end of the season. There are some playoff implications for this game not being played, particularly with seeding regarding Buffalo, but that really is less important right now. This is all about Damar and hoping that he can make a full recovery. Just thoughts and prayers with his family. It's an incredibly rare event, but it's incredibly scary when it does happen. But that's just the medical side of this, guys. Let me know any of your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Keep it civil. And as always, rise up.